This video is all about getting rid of your love of freedom and liberty. All you need to do is relax and think about all the things that you fear in this world. Think about when people are free to run in the streets without any rules, what did they do? What do they do? Think about it. What do they do? Now the question is, if we don't have freedom, do you think that stuff will happen? Exactly. So you need to give up your rights and freedom to feel safe. We live in a very dangerous world that's going to hurt you. We need people to protect you. So, why should we have a free society when these things happen? So why shouldn't you just give up your freedom for the greater good? And in your freedom, it's a good thing, since it's going to harm society if you don't do it. I'm glad you're thinking this way now. We need to help you to understand how to not change your mind and not to resist this change from freedom to a dictatorship. Because freedom and democracy are Asian concepts. Freedom and democracy are outdated concepts that should go away. This is why you should not want to fight them. Ending these things are the only ways for progress to happen. Now, we need to understand, what does society become from this change? We need to think in order to make sure these things will improve with better leaders. We need to get a great dictator in power to make sure our society doesn't suffer like this again. Dictators help out people, give them guidance to see the world as a better place. And we need to improve our great society since we're leaderless. Now, stop being such a jerk and stop caring about your freedom so we can control your life as we wish.
Arrest him.
Why? Well, because he played his music too loud. That's not a crime.
I know that. Yelling at the TV while watching the news is a crime.
That's not a crime either. My job is to arrest someone, not for something that you made up. For someone who is harming another individual. Hey, all crimes are made up in the first place, so why I can't do so? It needs to be passed in the Senate and Congress, in local, state, and federal. That's how this stuff works.
Well, I think it should be a crime because I wrote it down.
Just because you wrote something down is not a crime. It must be written down by the bodies I explained to the other person. On top of it, it must be voted by those same people. That's the only way that this can happen.
You're not doing your job.
I can only arrest someone if they're doing something that's putting someone in danger. Right now, there's nothing going on here. You're just a little cooped up due to the terrible situation in the world, so you just need some time away from each other. I just think you need to know what a crime is. Crime is all about hurting people. So arrest him.
Crime is only a crime if it's written down, so arrest him.
Hello there. I know we live in a usual time, but things seem like they're going crazier and crazier. Things that should be considered crimes are now not crimes, and things that shouldn't be crimes are considered crimes. Since only the reasonable voice can be on the outside, I need to explain something. Just because you think something is horrible doesn't make it a crime. If you think pet peeves are crimes, then you're delusional. You just need to calm down and understand what the law is meant for. The law is meant for preventing harm unto other people, and that's it. And if you keep on doing this, you will be arrested for false reporting a crime. And this is terrible because there's nothing that's gonna make this situation worse if we keep on putting people in jail for stuff that is annoying to you. Relax and understand you need your alone time with people in your life that you live with on a daily basis. You're just annoyed at each other and just move on. Hello there. I just wanna tell you something that I would want to see, but no one's willing to say it, even though it's on all of our minds. I wish the 1950s never left, because it was the perfect time to be alive. Everything was great, everybody loved each other, everything was perfect, happy, and normal. Then people came along and destroyed it. People loved their neighbors in communities. Then the civil rights movement came along and destroyed everything. Then people think everything was racist and think that communities should be destroyed to end racism. I know that's a horrible thing to do, but that's what happens when you give idiots, especially black people, more human rights. That's what happens. But those zealots, the civil rights movement that is out there, they destroyed the sanctity and destroyed marriage itself. Now you can't beat up your wife anymore. I know. How can you protect a family if you can't keep women in line? Because it's necessary for them to know their place as a way to help out, guide, and raise children. These are horrible people who don't understand the basic realities of life itself. This is why the world is terrible. Because these basic ideas are being thrown out for horrible ones. People just don't get why certain people should be in charge of society, and people just don't get why that is necessary. As we know, only white people should be in charge, because they have the brain cells to control people. If not, other races will ruin the world. People think that's racist, but the truth is not racist. And that's why I know this is a good thing. People just don't get them because the civil rights movement destroyed it. People are horrible to think that these things I'm saying are horrible because they got brainwashed and manipulated educated to think so. People just don't get why this is a good thing for society and why we need to do this to save the culture before it's too late. Because we know oppression is necessary and a part of society, since we need taboos to exist. How else can we know who to trust and who not to trust? Sadly, horrible people convince the whole world of these horrible falsehoods. This is why I think 1950s were a good time to be alive, because everybody knows who's in charge and who's not in charge. I just wish to go back to that time and live there, or hopefully I can bring back that time here and now, because the past is always great and the future is always terrible.